Part of the reason why Palantir invested in SPACs in the first place, even though it was a controversial strategy, is because they wanted to be on the front line of innovative companies that were doing unique things in unique markets, leveraging their software to be able to build their companies in those unique markets. Does that mean every company was going to win? Obviously not, but that did mean that Palantir wanted to take some bets, especially if those companies were going to be paying Palantir for their software. So not only was Palantir going to be able to get an equity position, but they were able to get some actual revenue from those clients. Last quarter in Q1, the revenue from the 12 remaining SPACs that we have in terms of the equity investments that we still hold, I think we invested in around 21 to 22 of them late in 2020, is about 38 million. Revenue was about 525 million. So almost 10% of the revenue came from the SPACs, which is a pretty significant deal because those companies are using our products and those companies are still paying for our products because they're leveraging them to try to build out their companies. Now, will they survive? That jury's still out on that. But one of those companies is called Lilium. And Lilium is a really interesting company. This press release just broke out a couple of days ago, and I want to go through it. First off, before I get into this, I do not recommend buying any stock. This is not financial advice. In particular, I don't recommend Lilium. It's still a very, very speculative company. I usually don't put this disclaimer, but I'm putting it here now because a lot of people are like, Amit, Lilium's $1.36. Do you think it's worth buying? And it's like, as much as I think there is potential in this company, we saw what happened to Wejo, right? Where Wejo was at like $1 and then it's getting delisted off the NASDAQ, even though I think it's an incredibly innovative company. I've met the CEO of that company. I've talked to him. These SPACs are really, really speculative. And so even though you think there's a market opportunity here, I personally just don't want to invest in these types of companies right now. I also think if you invest in Palantir, you de facto have exposure to Lilium. So my thesis has always been, instead of buying the SPACs, if you just, engage with more Palantir and you build up that position, given there's so much more potential there, you can get exposure to a lot of these companies, even if you don't want to buy them direct outright. So let's get into this press release on Lilium. It's very interesting what they're doing right now in China, and then we'll get a little bit more of a deep dive on what Lilium is doing since we haven't talked about them for a couple months now. The Baoan district of Shenzhen, I'm sorry if I'm saying this wrong, municipality and Lilium, developer of a first all-electric vertical takeoff and landing or eVTOL jet, have signed a memorandum of understanding or MOU for the opening of a regional Lilium headquarters in Baoan district as a first step in partnership to establish a safe and sustainable eVTOL service in China with the Lilium Jet. The collaboration will initially focus on the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, again, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, Greater Bay Area, with a population of over 85 million people, with plans to grow across China and the broader Asia-Pacific region. Now, whenever we talk about China, a lot of times investors are like, oh, they're bad, the CCP, they're going to cut off your head, blah, 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 blah. And that's fine. And that's probably, something to take into concern. But you got to remember, China has 1.3 billion people, and they've got to service those people. And they want to have companies at least working in the nation to service those people. And one of the ways to service them is transportation. 85 million people in one city, and Lilium's going to be establishing a regional headquarters there. That's a great, piece of news just in terms of Lilium's progress as a company in an emerging market where they might actually have a chance to be able to capture the eVTOL space. The goal of the regional headquarters is to represent Lilium in China and the Asia-Pacific region and to facilitate Lilium jet sales, services, and the support in the area. The district's extensive regional knowledge will benefit Lilium as the two parties build the foundation of premium eVTOL operations in Greater Bay Area, including defining launch routes, use cases, and other logistics related to Lilium's jet entry into that service. Now, if we take a look at this picture right here, you look at what is a Lilium jet, one of their eVTOL jets, and you look at a bunch of these towers. And as you can see, Lilium's eVTOL jet is flying high above the towers. So it's a jet that's high up in the air above the towers. And as I'm looking at this, I can't help but think that it's high above towers, making me feel like high tau or high towers, high tau is a really interesting name. And I actually know someone named High Tau who's been watching my channel for the past couple of years, who's one of my most loyal subscribers, one of my most loyal fans, who gets really excited when he watches the channel. And the only reason I know this is because he has a really awesome and special girlfriend named Christina, who reached out to me to tell High Tau that I want to wish you a very, very happy birthday. Happy birthday, Hightown. This is a special shout out to you live on this video right now. So everyone who watches this video gets to see this announcement to you. I really appreciate you keeping up with the channel and being a supporter and subscriber. Your girlfriend is awesome, by the way. She reached out to me and she said this would be a special shout out to you. And she says that while you're with her, you're watching my videos and you're not even paying that much attention to her, which I really appreciate because, you know, you've got to keep your investing knowledge A+, and sometimes the girlfriends, you know, they can take a little backseat. They can chill on Saturday, Sunday during the week when it's market open live streams. You got to be with me over the girl. So I hope you have a great birthday. I hope you really appreciate and love your girlfriend because she's super awesome for setting this up. And, you know, I appreciate everyone who watches these videos. It means the world to me when people actually take time out of their life to consume my content and find some value in that. So I hope you have done well in your Palantir position. I hope you have been enjoying the content, and I appreciate you for actually staying along and following the journey because I love doing shit like this. It as soon as she emailed me, I was like, yes, we got to do this. This is super fun. I hope you have a great birthday. I hope you enjoy with your girlfriend. I hope you love your girlfriend because she's super awesome. I know you're going on 3 years of a girlfriend relationship. So the ring, I don't know where it's at, but hopefully it comes soon because she still said girlfriend. She didn't say wife yet. And thank you again for being a subscriber. I love doing these types of surprises and I hope you enjoy it. All right, back to the video. So let's get a little bit more into the press release. A representative of the district of Shenzhen municipality said, as the aerial gateway of Shenzhen and the hub for aerospace industry, this district possesses unique advantages in the development of the low altitude economy, including a central location in the greater Bay Area, robust industrial support, and a wide range of application scenarios. Lilium has always been at the forefront of the eVTOL field and is a global leader in electric aviation. Going forward, we will create a better environment and provide greater support for the project to land, allowing enterprises to develop in Bao and with peace of mind. We also hope that Lilium will accelerate its footprint, expanding the establishment of sales centers, research and development centers, production, and other facilities of growth. The CEO of Lilium says China represents an enormous market for the eVTOL industry. We believe projecting to amount to as much as 25% of the market, which is huge, 1/4 of the entire market being in China, which is basically the amount of people that would be willing to get on one of these jets in order to transport. So there has to be a little bit of there has to be some level of economic support for them to be able to do this because it's still a little expensive. It hasn't hit economies of scale where it's as cheap as an Uber. But eventually, if that gets to that point, if eVTOL jets become as cheap as an Uber one day, and you need the right type of technology to do this, but there's no gas, right? These are electric, so you can't fly them back and forth that easily. The battery technology, all that stuff, that's a pretty big market going into the future. Again, Lilium is a speculative company, but that is a pretty big market. We are thrilled to be entering China with such a strong partner. Fast, comfortable, sustainable transport will strongly contribute to the region's development. We're grateful for the commitment and engagement that the district is offering. Now, if you look at the eVTOL market size, I took a look at this. The market was for eVTOL was 8.5 billion in 2021, estimated to grow 11 billion by 2023 and 30 billion by 2030, so at a CAGR of 15%. So it's a market that's growing 15% year over year. The market cap of Lilium is $540 million. Overall market expected to be 30 billion by 2030. If Lilium can take a little bit of that market, if they're one of the top 5 players, then we could see some growth in the company, and we could definitely see some growth in the overall market. And if the market's growing and the company's growing with it, and the company's one of the only couple players, then you've got the ability for Lilium to potentially take some market share. If I came to this website that covers a lot of electric jets and sort of the industry, these are the top companies in the space. You've got Joby Aviation, which you guys have probably heard of them. Kathy Wood had a position in them for a little bit. That's kind of like the leader. And then Lilium was second. And I didn't expect Lilium to be second, but Lilium was second. The website says Lilium, based outside of Germany, is another major player with more than 340 million behind it and a workforce of 350 people that's preparing to scale up past 1,000. Lilium's aircraft is without doubt one of the most beautiful in the sector, a supercar-style cabin between slim hammerhead wings with banks of very compact electric jets and no ungainly exposed propellers. It is a superbly futuristic design, which is a great way to describe it. It's also flying with public test videos available online of early-stage hover and maneuvering tests and high-speed testing soon to follow. Lilium told us a few months ago it seems a pretty clear path towards certification. The company is targeting 2025 for the launch of its own service. And then it goes into some other companies, but Lilium was second on the list on a website that covers this pretty deeply. And so that also said a lot to me just in terms of doing my due diligence of Lilium's brand recognition and their awareness. And then you've got Airbus, obviously on this list as well, but Airbus and Boeing, they sell, really big jets and planes. So this market is not the biggest thing that they're trying to capitalize on because it's just not that effective for them. Let's take a look at how the company actually spoke about their jet back in 2018 to get a better understanding of their vision for the company.
So here at Lilium, we are developing the world's first entirely electric vertical takeoff and landing jet. We want to establish and build a new means of transportation.
Although you're working on it every day, you still got these moments where you think, wow, that is something really, really cool that we're doing here, and it just feels amazing to be actually a really big part of that.
So you have an airplane that takes off vertically like a helicopter. But once it's in the air, it accelerates into forward flight and flies with wing-borne lift. And this way it achieves much higher speeds than cars, but also higher speeds than a helicopter. So connectivity is what it's all about.
It's really interesting. It's super, super interesting to kind of see this company play out. Now, the reason I wanted to make this video is because, again, I don't know if the stock's going to be successful. I don't know if the company is going to take over the world. What I do know is this is a market that's growing. It's going to be a $30 billion market in the next 7 years. Lilium is one of the key players from all the research I've done in terms of the names that get mentioned in this industry, along with a host of other players. They have one of the best designs, one of the most unique designs. And bringing it back to Palantir, it starts to make sense why Palantir again invested. Again, those investments, maybe they could go to zero, maybe they could go up, but they want it to be in the front lines of new emerging industries. And that's why they invested in a company like eVTOL Jets 5 years ago. They were a thing, but as time goes on and development starts happening and technology starts getting better, and I'm sure AI is going to play somewhat of a role in terms of the manufacturing of these jets and making them more efficient, you can see a world in which this becomes a thing. We never thought Google search, for the past 5 years was going to go away, and now you have ChatGPT. Could you imagine in 2030 where like Uber, why would I got to go from New York to New Jersey. I got to go from LA to San Francisco. Why would I take a car that's 2-3 hours? Why would I not take a jet that's 20 minutes? Especially if it, as with economies of scale, that becomes incredibly cheaper. And Uber with Uber Air is trying to do this as well. So it's one of those things where if Palantir, and if Lilium's still paying for Palantir software, and Lilium is a company that is able to establish a regional headquarters in China with 85 million people as their total addressable market to be able to service this to, it's just unique to see Foundry and Palantir and maybe AIP in the future being interoperable inside of a company that's doing something on the front lines and that's trying to innovate in a way that a lot of other companies are not innovating. Again, Google, Salesforce, all these companies have venture arms where they throw money at companies and see what those companies can do. But Palantir with the SPAC investments wasn't about throwing money at them. It was about throwing money at companies that actually have a chance to use their software to propel their business model forward, so that Palantir could be integrated at the intersection of what the company is actually trying to do in terms of their big, audacious goal, while also being able to generate some revenue and have an equity position. So it's an interesting thing to kind of see how this is playing out. Is Lilium going to be a winner? I don't know. Is it worth buying the stock? I have no clue because it's very speculative right now. eVTOL Jets could absolutely fail in the next 10 years. But if they don't, and Lilium's a big player, then we could see Palantir see some of the upside as a result of Lilium doing well. All right, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Let me know your thoughts on Lilium. Hi, Tao. Happy birthday. Your girlfriend is awesome. I hope you enjoyed the little shout out. And I appreciate you being a subscriber and watching my videos. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.